So I had that one tomato that volunteered. It was like a tomato that was laying over winter, and it got tilled under, and then it came up. Well, I spread them all out. I hated, they were healthy looking tomato plants. And this row of peppers had kind of got destroyed by the rain at one time. So I spread them out. And I've noticed this sort of thing before. Those volunteer tomatoes, like there's blossoms and they're doing fine. And I do have assortment of peppers in there. Oh, the lettuce does excellent. But I don't know why every year I start tomatoes, if I could count on just the volunteers, I think that would work fine. Oh. T-shirt is hanging there because I had deer coming in and nibbling on a cabbage. And evidently the smell and the flopping around of the t-shirt was enough to keep them away. A lot of peas. But there again, I don't usually can peas. I do sometimes, but really I like eating them just raw. That's the way I like them, just pod and all. But cabbages are fine. I could do something with some of them. But see, here's tomatoes that I had actually bought some of the early girl. My main tomato thing is in the other area. But it's got a bunch of tomatoes on, so they won't be long. And a bunch of blossoms on. But I should go and, I have to jam them back inside of the thing. Turnips must be about ready to eat. Okay, radishes are replanted, and now these are the radishes that I'm letting go to seed, because that particular radish, I think it was called a French breakfast or something, but they were very large, but never got woody, and they weren't hot. So I'm going to gather the seeds off of them and save them. Of course, plenty of onions, and these seed, those are set onions, these are seed onions, and they're actually doing very well. I've been eating them. And carrots too now. They're of an eating size. Just starting, but I gotta thin them, so they have to come out, but they're, like that. That's a good tender eating carrot. Now, that row on the end is garlic, and I see that's dying down, so I could just as well pull that all out, and braid them and hang them. But I'm going to have to bring the rototiller back here. I run that back and forth between the two gardens. The other garden is just over the hill, but there's some weeds coming. But I have to start thinning on them carrots. But like this time of year, every meal I have is at least half of it came out of the garden. Whatever's in season at that moment. And it's funny too, because I planted dill right in that row. But the dill that volunteered from last year came up in the bean row. That's fine. That's doing great. So we're going to save seeds from them again. Yeah, it's a fine looking cabbage. But I did have deer coming in here. In fact, they did eat the tops off of the peas at one time, but they didn't seem to take off, didn't seem to bother them. Then I see the beans are blossoming, so they'll be next. And of course I've been eating potatoes for quite a while. But I can see the red potatoes are starting, the vines are starting to drop. So they're kind of to the end of their growing stage. But these white potatoes, they are still blossoming. But I'm getting some good sized potatoes already. I better look at the other garden and start doing some tilling. But like this time of year, right now, when I'm busy working on that four-wheeler, so I've been neglecting the garden. So I got to do that some.